On March 12th, 2024, MrBeast, literally the world's biggest YouTuber, he tweeted something out that pretty much broke the entire creator economy space. In his tweet, he said that this past year, I've slowed down our videos. I've focused more on storytelling. I've let scenes breathe more. I've yelled less. I've had more personality and overall longer videos, and our views have skyrocketed. Now, the same week he made that post, MrBeast drops a new video, and it was called I Survived 7 Days in an Abandoned City, and it got 122 million views. And inside of that video, not as a guest, not as a cameo, but as an actual cast member, a character in MrBeast's story is none other than Mark Rober. But there's something that almost nobody really noticed. I realized that every single thing MrBeast just said that he was changing about his content, Mark Rober had already been doing it for 14 years. All right, so I have literally spent the entirety of last week going through every interview I could of Mark Rober, everything he's done. I'm talking about Colin and Samir, Mel Robbins, his TED Talks, I mean, all of his videos, podcasts, you name it. And what I found is really interesting. Everyone in the YouTube growth space right now is teaching like the MrBeast playbook, but the smartest creator on the platform, he never followed it. And now it's interesting, MrBeast is kind of quietly moving toward his playbook. Now, by the end of this video, I'm going to break down the 4-part strategy or playbook that turned Mark Rober into a $25 million a year creator without ever uploading more than once a month. And exactly how you can also do the same 4 moves or plays with your own channel, whether you have 100 subscribers or 100,000. Now, before I get into it, I want to let you know that everything I'm putting into this video, the full playbook, the templates, the frameworks that I even use with my own clients and on my own channel, I'm all putting it and condensing it for you completely for free in my free school community. It's called the YouTube Blueprint, and you could join with the first link in the description below. All right, now let me start with something that's going to sound kind of insane. Mark Rober, he has 75 million subscribers. His videos average around 38 million views. He has been doing this for 14 years. And in that entire time, he's uploaded around 250 videos in total. Let me just say that again for that to sink in. 250 videos in 14 years. That's about 1 video a month. Now, right now, there are creators with 5,000 subscribers uploading 3 times a week, burning themselves out, running on this treadmill, hating their lives. And Mark Rober is sitting on a media company that Forbes ranks as a $25 million a year company that's completely outpacing 99% of YouTubers by doing the opposite of what every YouTube guru is teaching. And here's the part that fundamentally broke my YouTube belief system when I figured it out. The reason Mark Rober is making $25 million a year isn't his YouTube channel. His YouTube AdSense is barely a fraction of his revenue.
Having this alternate revenue source with Crunch Labs and as just of something to let the YouTube videos even be a loss leader if I had to.
Yeah. See, he didn't build a YouTube channel, he built a media company, and every move that he made along the way directly contradicts the standard YouTube playbook that everybody is teaching right now. So let's break it down right now because it's 4 plays and each one is something that you can apply right away. And don't worry about taking notes because at the very end of this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can access completely for free this 4-step custom-made playbook for you to be able to just download on your computer and reference so you could start using it right away. And every single one of these 4 plays inside of this YouTube playbook is something that MrBeast, the biggest creator on earth, has started copying or at least adapting in the last 18 months. Now, Mark Rober has a phrase that he uses to describe his entire content philosophy. He calls it hiding the vegetables.
I can't teach you if I don't have your attention. So by teaching science in this way via spectacle, you come in, you get hooked. You're like, wait, what? And so that's what I really do is like, you know, I get your attention, I hide the vegetables.
Adam Grant, the psychologist, he called Rober's videos a giant Trojan horse. Now stop and actually think about what that means because most YouTube growth advice gets this exactly backwards. Most creators sit down to make a video and they're like, all right, what am I going to teach today? Then when they decide that, they build the video around that teaching and then they pretend the title and thumbnail are some sort of afterthought. But Mark Rober does the opposite. He starts with the spectacle, the glitter bomb, the squirrel maze, the shark cage, the thing that makes you stop scrolling and click. Then, and only then, he hides the science lessons inside of it.
You just have to evoke a visceral response. In other words, it has to make them laugh. They have to, you know, feel excited. They just have to feel something.
Now, here's why this matters for you, even if you're not making engineering videos like he is. Because every single piece of content on YouTube, it's competing for the same thing: attention. The lesson, the value, the takeaway, none of it matters if somebody doesn't click onto the video. None of it matters if they leave after the first 30 seconds of the video. Now, here's what's really interesting. MrBeast figured this out too. MrBeast has a production document that leaked online, and it's all over the internet at this point. You can read it yourself if you want. Now, inside of that leaked document, there's a space in there where MrBeast has something. It says, I spent 50 hours in my front yard, and then he writes, that's lame. Nobody would click on it. And then he wrote, but I spent 50 hours in ketchup. This is 100 times more viral. So those two title or idea examples that MrBeast had in his leaked PDF or in his leaked playbook, well, that's hiding the vegetables. That's leading with the spectacle and then hiding the substance underneath. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because if you're sitting down to plan your next video and your first thought is, what am I gonna teach? Well, then you kind of already lost the point. You need to start with the visceral, attention-grabbing concept, then figure out where the value lives inside of it, or how to use that as wrapping paper for the value inside of the video that you already want to convey. Now, this next play in the playbook is the move that almost nobody's willing to teach because it directly contradicts the most repeated piece of advice that lives on YouTube. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. Post weekly. Be as consistent as you can. The algorithm rewards consistency. Now, yes, there's truth in that. However, Mark Rober has uploaded once a month on average for 14 years. In an interview with Colin and Samir, somebody asked him why he hasn't scaled up his production, and his answer was the most counterintuitive thing I've ever heard a creator say.
This analogy of like on a treadmill where it's like it's really exciting and you're sprinting on this treadmill because you have all these things you're doing and you're hiring people, and it is exciting and you get the dopamine hit to your brain and it's like, this is rad. But at some point, you can't keep up that pace. And the dopamine that comes from sprinting and being like, oh, I'm doing all these cool things wears off, but you still have to sprint because your treadmill's running at that speed. And like that is the definition of burnout, when it's like you don't get the dopamine reward for the work that's going into it. So I'm very protective of my treadmill speed.
His head of content at Crunch Labs, it put it like this. I absolutely loved it when I came across it. He said, most YouTubers are weekly machines, but Mark's videos, they're events. That bar is the secret sauce. That's super interesting to let sink in. But here's where this gets really personal for me, because I lived this exact lesson the hard way. It was about 1.5 years into me running my own YouTube channel, and I'm just pumping videos out every single week. I'm hitting publish and publish and publish. And I remember one week, it was like Monday or Tuesday, and I was already super stressed about Friday's video. My editor was fried, I was fried, and the views were flat. The conversions on my offer were pretty much non-existent. The community I have was barely growing. And honestly, if you've ever felt this, the treadmill where you're working harder and harder and harder and the numbers aren't moving, you know exactly what I mean. So I did the thing that all the YouTube advice would tell me not to do. I slowed down. I stopped chasing weekly uploads so aggressively. I focused on human psychology, on emotion, on telling stories my audience can actually feel, and I shift everything around value through storytelling and relatability. And what happened was wild. The connections between me and my audience became super genuine. People started emailing me saying they love my videos. The community I have started compounding, and I was enjoying myself more than I had ever done before. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because Mark Rober has been doing this on purpose for 14 years. The cadence isn't a limitation. It's kind of like his moat, or as his head of content said, his secret sauce. Every video he drops, it feels like an event because he's not flooding the feed with content. He's making each upload count. Now, there is one very important caveat that I absolutely need to mention here. And this is where the world of making money on YouTube or building a very profitable business on YouTube and building a really big audience, they become more and more separated. Now, of course, if you build a big audience, there's so many different ways to monetize and you can make a really good amount of money. But for your average everyday Joe, the best way to make money is actually probably the Alex Hormozi approach, or the approach he takes. He's a really big YouTuber in the business space. He has a channel with 4 million subscribers, yet he has a second channel. It's called a highlights channel, and he posts almost 20 videos a day on that channel. They're unoptimized with not many views, a few hundred views each video, but he makes more money from that channel than he does from his channel with 4 million subscribers, because it's speaking on such a specific pain point for a specific person, which automatically makes the niche size or total addressable market much smaller, but likely more pain aware and buyer ready. My main point of saying this is you need to approach YouTube with a deep clarity on what your main objective or goal is, because it may require two completely different strategies. It might be the Alex Hormozi strategy where you post several times a day or a week, but tailored to a very specific person. Because Alex Hormozi and people like MrBeast and Mark Rober are on two different sides of the spectrum. The third play is the one that actually explains Mark Rober's $25 million a year. In 2022, Mark Rober launched Crunch Labs. It's basically a subscription box where every month kids get a buildable engineering toy and a video tutorial to come along with it. Now, his goal with the business, Crunch Labs, was to hit 100,000 subscriptions in 2 years. He hit it in 6 months. The reason he hits it in 6 months is something almost zero people understand, or creators. Because by the time he launched Crunch Labs, Mark Rober had been on YouTube for like 11 years at this point. He had millions of people who already knew him, already trusted him, already saw him as the engineer dad who builds cool stuff. Crunch Labs didn't have to find an audience. The audience was already waiting for him.
I quit Apple when I had like about 10 million subscribers.
Now, Mark Rober, he worked at like NASA and Apple, but specifically Apple before this for 8 years while the channel grew. He didn't quit his day job at Apple until he hit 10 million subscribers, and he didn't launch his real business until really year 11. Now, you're probably thinking, well, okay, listen, dude, I don't have 10 million subscribers or 14 years. This doesn't apply to me. Well, you'd be wrong, because the principle is the principle, and principles scale. If you have 1,000 true fans who love what you make, your offer launches into pent-up demand. If you have 100,000 random viewers who don't actually care about you as a person, your offer will fall flat. I see this every single week with creators I work with on both the agency side and inside of my school community. Big subscriber counts, terrible conversions, because they spent 2 years chasing the algorithm and 0 years building actual trust. This is the part that everyone teaching the MrBeast playbook gets wrong. They're teaching you how to make a video go viral, but Mark Rober was teaching himself how to build a relationship. And surprise, surprise, what is MrBeast doing in 2025, now 2026? Kind of the same thing. You have Feastables, Lunchly, Beast Games. He's converting 10 years of trust capital into a product business. He's running the Mark Rober playbook, just bigger. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because if you're a creator right now trying to figure out when to launch your first paid offer, your first community, your first product, whatever it is, the answer is not do it when you hit 10K subscribers. The answer should be do it when you have a tribe that would buy literally anything you sell them because they trust you that much, whether it's 10 people, 100 people, or 100 million people. That's the Mark Rober move. Build the trust first. The product launches into demand that already exists from that. Now, the last play in Mark Rober's playbook, and this is the one that honestly separates the Mark Robers of the world from every other creator on earth. Mark Rober's company is not called Mark Rober Incorporated. It's called Crunch Labs. The brand has nothing to do with him.
Crunch Labs is significantly more than the other stuff. And most importantly, like we really poured our just guts into these it's a good product. Like, and then you just have people who want, selling this concept of like, I'll help you to learn to think like an engineer. Parents are watching their kids be like so stoked to get these boxes, and who now are telling these parents facts about projectile motion, and who now say they want to be an engineer. Like, what parent isn't going to, first of all, continue that subscription the next year? Second of all, tell their friends and family about it.
His head of content said something that really stuck with me. He said, Mark knows he has a finite number of years. He created Crunch Labs basically as a brand, because that brand could outlive him. So one day, Crunch Labs will take on its own life without Mark Rober ever being in it. The point here is he's deliberately building something that doesn't depend on his face being in every video. And most creators are doing the opposite. They build their entire business around their personal name, their personal brand, their personal face. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of building a personal brand. I think it's going to be the way a lot of people succeed on YouTube and with the increase of AI. But the key here is to build a business off of that personal brand rather than the personal brand being the core business. Because if your personal brand is the whole core of the business, it's fine until you want a vacation, or until you get sick, or until you want to do anything other than be on camera every single week for the rest of your life. Mark Rober built a brand that has Netflix deals, book deals, toys in Target stores, free curriculum in like 90,000 classrooms, and none of that depend on him personally being there every single day. And now, as fate would have it, look at what MrBeast is doing right now. Beast Games on Amazon Prime, Feastables in every Walmart. He's actively building Beast as a brand separate from Jimmy Donaldson. Every move he's making in 2024, 2025, and now 2026 is the Mark Rober move. He's building the IP, the intellectual property, in a way that doesn't need to always rely on the personality. You don't have to be Mark Rober to start thinking like this. Pick a name for your project that's bigger than you. For me, it's a school community called the YouTube Blueprint. Create things that one day exist without you in them. That's how you go from being a creator with a job to being a creator with a real business. Okay, so now what I want to do is zoom out just for a second. So as we said, in 2024, MrBeast, he publicly slowed down his uploads. He focuses more on story. He lets scenes breathe more, right? That was play number 2. In 2024, MrBeast launched Beast Games on Amazon Prime, which was a multi-episodic arc, not a YouTube video. In the playbook, that's play number 1. And in 2024 and 2025, MrBeast scales Feastables, launches Lunchly, builds Beast Games as a product business off of the back of his channel's trust. That's play number 3. In 2024, 2025, 2026, MrBeast pulls Beast as its own brand. Beast Games doesn't depend on Jimmy being the main character on camera every single frame of every single episode. That's play number 4. Every single move MrBeast is making right now, the smartest creator on YouTube, Mark Rober, has been making for over a decade. And here's the thing that nobody wants to ever admit about this. MrBeast didn't suddenly invent a new way to grow on YouTube. He just finally figured out what Mark Rober quietly figured out in 2011. Spectacle is the bait, story's the hook. Cadence is the moat, trust is the product, and the brand is the legacy. 4 plays that make up a playbook. 4 moves. None of them require a $200,000 video budget. None of them require a NASA degree like Mark Rober, but all of them require you to do the opposite of what 99% of the YouTube advice tells you to do. Now look, if you've watched this far, you already know which side of the line you're on. You can keep doing what 99% of creators are doing, chasing the algorithm, pumping out content over and over, burning yourself out on the treadmill, hoping that one of your videos finally hits and takes off. Or you can do what Mark Rober has been doing for 14 years. If you're ready to actually run these 4 plays on your own channel with someone in your corner who's done it, that's exactly what the YouTube Blueprint Pro is. It's like the big brother to my free community. It's the paid community. It's called YouTube Blueprint Pro. And it's where I personally help you build the spectacle, the story, the cadence, the brand into your own channel. We do weekly Q&A and coaching calls. I review your scripts. I review your thumbnails. I tell you exactly where you're leaving money and growth on the table. And for the first 100 founding members to join, the first 100 people to sign up, I'm giving as a bonus a completely free 1-hour, one-to-one coaching call where we build this all out from the ground up. And people have been absolutely loving it. Slots are already almost 50% full only after 72 hours of being live. So if you're serious about growing from creator with a channel to creator with a business, the door is open and now's the time to join. The link is also going to be below to both the YouTube Blueprint, the free community, and the YouTube Blueprint Pro. Now, at the beginning of this video, I told you towards the back half of this video, I would let you know how to access the playbook that I built and had custom made off of everything I'm telling you in this video. If you want that, it's going to be a top pinned post for you to be able to download and use yourself when you go join my free school community. Now, coming back to Mark Rober, here's the thing that I keep circling around in my head. For 14 years, Mark Rober uploaded 1 video a month. While everyone else was sprinting, he was jogging. While everyone else was chasing the algorithm, he was building something that the algorithm couldn't take away from him. And the wild part is he never once tried to be the biggest YouTuber in the world. He just tried to make a really good video about something he genuinely cared about. And the biggest YouTuber in the world is now adapting to his playbook. It was never about the views. It was never about the subscribers. It was never about beating MrBeast or anyone else. It was about building something that mattered, something that lasted, something that was actually his, something that's actually yours. The creators that we'll be talking about in 10 years' time aren't the ones grinding the hardest right now. They're the ones building like Mark Rober, patiently, with a story worth telling, told to people who actually care. So whatever you're working on right now, your channel, your offer, your business, your craft, slow down, make it good, make it mean something, and make it last, because the internet doesn't need more content. It needs more of you.